Wagwan. Hey, yo, I want to thank everybody for chiming in, waiting for many more to come in. We just gonna get into it because we have a discussion. We gotta have one of these locker room conversations. Let me just say this and just highlight this and make this clear. I'm no way, shape, or form disrespected no one's religion or spiritual relationship. Some of my teammates are Jewish. We get along just fine. We play football together. We share stories together. We train together and all of that. I know who they are. They know who I am, and that shit don't matter when we take the field to play football. I want to highlight that. Even off the field, we good. You know, they show me their culture. I show them my culture. And it's all good. It's all love. I just want to highlight that. But let me just say this. When you come to a place in your life and you put in the truth in proper perspective, you're going to have those that's going to have a problem with it because it goes against the grain or it exposes. Well, we're going to tap into it all. Like I said, locker room conversations. Shout out to Mushroom Coffee, by the way. Grab your shoulder pads and your helmet, and let's get this work. Last time that I checked.
For the mainstream Christian view of what the times of Jacob's trouble is.
Verse 3, the Lord promises that one day in the future, and remember this was written over 2,500 years ago, the book of Jeremiah, he will bring Judah and Israel back to the land he promised their forefathers. Now that promise was given to Abraham in Genesis chapter 12, and he promised this to be a land for Abraham and all his descendants forever. And that is the land of Israel. But their return will involve many distresses. Oh, really? How awful that day will be. Jeremiah 30, verse 7 again. It will be the time of Jacob's trouble, a picture of all of the nation of Israel. Now, verse 5 describes Jacob's trouble as a time of great fear and trembling. Now, in verse 6, it describes it in terms of the pains of childbirth, indicating a time of agony. Now, but there's hope for the people of Israel, for the Lord.
Let me highlight the times of trouble, the times where things are going on, things going to be happening in the land in which we see today. Okay? It's about to get deep. I want to highlight that. I want to make that clear. A lot of the stuff that we seeing, hearing, that's going on now, is a result of Jacob's trouble. If y'all haven't already, go get that book, William Cooper, Behold the Pale the White Horse. Cop that book. Put a number 1 in the chat. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Let's get it.
Promises he's going to save them.
All right, and that's just a quick excerpt. Let's review some more from the mainstream Christian website, Got Questions, under the title, What is the time of Jacob's trouble? It provides the answer. It says, the phrase, the time of Jacob's trouble, comes from Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, which says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. It is our view that the time of Jacob's trouble corresponds to the 7-year tribulation of the end times. In the previous verses of Jeremiah 30, the Lord is speaking to Jeremiah, the prophet, about Judah and Israel. That's Jeremiah 30, verses 3 and 4. In verse 3, the Lord promises that one day in the future, he will bring Judah and Israel back to the land he had promised their forefathers. But their return will involve many distresses. How awful that day will be. Jeremiah 30, verse 7. It will be the time of Jacob's trouble. Jacob being a synecdoche for all the nation of Israel. Verse 5 describes Jacob's trouble as a time of great fearing and trembling. Verse 6 describes it in terms of pains of childbirth, indicating a time of agony. But there is hope for the people of Israel.
So when we're talking about the times of agony and the times of tribulation and the times of pain, look at what we're seeing. Look at what's going on. The deaths that we're seeing, the chaos that we're seeing. This is no surprise. This is no coincidence. This didn't just happen. I'm going to go a step further because I will be going live later on today. But you look at how we all treat each other, especially this right here, of how we treat each other. And when we see that, it's no coincidence. Where did it come from? We've seen so many individuals sell their soul to the things of this world, especially women. Made money their God. Think about it. Man got to make money. Man got to spend this much on the first date. Any and everything consists of money. No transactional, no money. No funds, no buns. You sold your soul to the things of this world. Reality has a way of catching up with you. Reality don't care what color you are, your body size, what you have, don't have. What's going to be is what's going to be. How it's going to go is how it's going to go. And there ain't nothing you can do to stop it.
For the Lord promises he will save them, even though this is the time of Jacob's distress. Even though in all history there has never been such a time of terror, God will deliver his people. In Jeremiah chapter 30, verses 10 through 11, the Lord references the blessings that will come after the time of Jacob's trouble. I will surely save you out of a distant place, your descendants from the land of their exile. Jacob will again have peace and security, and no one will make him afraid. I am with you and will save you, declares the Lord. As part of the deliverance he provides from the times of Jacob's trouble, the Lord says he will destroy the nations who held Judah and Israel in captivity, and he will never again allow Jacob to be completely destroyed.
I will destroy those who did you wrong. I will destroy those that persecuted you, that falsely persecuted you. I will destroy those that crossed you. I will destroy those who plotted evil against you. Okay, it's going to make sense later.
The Lord also describes this as a time of discipline for his people. He says of Jacob, though I completely destroy all the nations among which I scatter you, I will not completely destroy you. I will discipline you, but only with justice. I will not let you go entirely unpunished.
He's saying, I'm going to discipline you. A lot of us need disciplining. I don't care who you are. A lot of us need to be disciplined. A lot of us need to be corrected, redirected. Because we rejected the truth, but believed the lie. Okay? Hurt people will hurt others. So many individuals are going to fall. They will fall. And when you humble yourself, when you move in a certain light, Elohim will show you. He will show you the destruction of others. He will show you the downfall of others. Oftentimes, Elohim will preserve you and keep certain people away from you. Like they say, no contact. No contact. Let's continue.
And then skipping to the end, it says, the time of Jacob's trouble demonstrates that God keeps his promises, judges sin, and saves those who trust in Christ. In the end times, God will pour his judgment on a wicked world, and the 7-year tribulation, from Israel's point of view, is the time of Jacob's trouble. In this time, God purges his chosen people of the wicked and unbelieving, but everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. For on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, there will be deliverance, as the Lord has said, even among the survivors whom the Lord calls. That's Joel 2:32 and Romans 10:13. Okay. After the time of Jacob's trouble is a time of peace, as the Lord himself sets up a kingdom on earth for 1,000 years, according to Revelation 20, verses 1-6 and Isaiah 11. Okay, that's the mainstream doctrine. And let me just be clear that the reason why people can make these views is because they only look at the Bible prophecy that they want to look at. There's so much Bible prophecy that speaks about this that if you tie it all together and understand exactly what Yah has prophesied, you would never come with these conclusions that these people are making right now. But I'm not going to go too fast. I just very bothered by reading all that. Anyways, please take note of what I said in the beginning of this video. Who people assign to being Israel determines what they are following in regards to fulfillment to end times Bible prophecy. If you really understand this, then understand what has been said in that explanation about Jacob's trouble. So let's look at some things that people believe in order to hold their view of Jacob's trouble. First off, Christians do recognize that our Father has a chosen people. Okay. They believe that the Jewish people are God's chosen people. Okay. They also believe that our Father has promised to return Israel back to their land. Only thing is that they believe this already happened in 1948. They also believe that the time of their return will bring about great distress in this world.
Highlight. We are the real Hebrew Jews. Highlight. The Torah speaks about us. Highlight. Yeshua HaMashiach called us to be his people because Elohim made his son one of us. Ring a bell? What many don't know, and it's okay if you don't know. You know, educational, this conversation is educational purpose, fair use only. All I ask is that you open up your mind, open up your ears to hear. See, this is why you can't always go to everyone's church, everyone's service. Be careful of who you listening to that's standing on that pulpit. Many of my followers and many of y'all know I have a thing when folks standing on that pulpit lying to people and not telling the whole truth, but they want your dollars. Stop it. If you're going to stand behind that pulpit, tell the truth. Because you got people out there that are hurting. You got people out there that are soul searching. You have individuals out there that been doing wrong for so long and they want to turn their life over to do right. But when they try to do that and they come to the altar, they get criticized, humiliated in front of the congregation. Of course, that's going to be discouraging and make a person not want to go if they have to put up with that. Okay, let's continue.
They believe that Jacob's trouble will purge his chosen people of the wicked and unbelieving, and everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Now, also should point this out. It was not covered in this, but many Christians believe that they will not be here for Jacob's trouble because they will be raptured before this time comes. Now, this is a brief synopsis of what mainstream Christians believe in regards to Jacob's trouble. But let's deal with something very important. What if who they call Israel is not actually Israel? I mean, whether you believe this to be the case or not, I mean, forget about the debate. I'm just asking you to consider, is it not possible that if Christians have it wrong who actually Israel is it not possible that they have a completely wrong view about what's going to happen according to end times Bible prophecy? Is it not even possible? That's all I'm asking you. For instance, in point 1, they believe that the Jewish people are God's chosen people. But that is not completely accurate because, as I said earlier, Israel is his chosen people. The 12 sons of Israel are who our father Yahuwah is in covenant with. When our father says Jacob, he is talking about all 12 sons. Now we know that the northern tribes separated from the southern tribes after Solomon. So that's why there is the northern tribes of Israel, which consist of 10 tribes. And then the southern tribes are known as the kingdom of Judah, which consists of 2 tribes.
See, this is why we got to give you some history. This is why we got to open you up a little bit. We got to pepper you up a little bit. We got to make sure you're seasoned. We got to season you. See, I told you I was going to come with truth. When I started this platform, for a reason. Bring back the masculine man, letting men know who they are and whose they are in the season of their life. Talking to those hurt, broken men. We're going to build you up. We're going to strengthen you so that the best version of yourself will be seen by many. You ain't even got to say nothing. Your presence speaks for itself. Okay? And shout out to my man, Truth Unedited, one of the brothers I study with. I'm going to tell you, since I've been using his videos, fair use, reaction, conversation, and review, since I've been using it, I'm going to tell you, the comments, individuals have been like mind blown. That things that they didn't even know. And that's the beauty of it. Discovering, learning, identifying, having an ear, being understanding, being open. We don't do hatred. I don't do that. Hate is such a nasty, disgusting word. But if you're going to bring the truth right. If you're going to teach it right.
Like, let's just say that these people are truly who they say they are. Let's just say that. That would still mean that we were still waiting for more of the people of Israel, the people from the northern tribes, the other 10 tribes who split. And they would technically only consist of 2 tribes. But here's the question. If what Christians believe is true, who are the other 10 tribes? Jacob's trouble means 12 sons of Jacob. It's not called Judah's trouble. It's not called Jewish trouble. That's not what's written. So if we're taking the Bible for what it says, something isn't adding up based on the narrative. But okay, let's just leave that alone for now. Next, they believe that our Father promised to bring them back to the land. Now we know that Christians believe that this is what was fulfilled in 1948. People believe that this prophecy was fulfilled at that time.
Inhabited by both Arabs and Jews, Palestine had been under the rule of Great Britain for 3 decades. In 1947, Britain announced that it planned to leave, its soldiers and economy exhausted by World War II. Zionists saw the chance to establish a country of their own, while Arabs denounced the proposed Jewish state as an attempt to steal Arab land. War between Arabs and Jews seemed inevitable.
American Jews made the difference in having a state or not having a state.
The UN session is being transmitted to Palestine, where huddled over radios or listening to loudspeakers in the streets. The people are avidly following the count.
Afghanistan? No.
The excitement among Jews around the country was overwhelming. Zionism was a popular movement. Even people who had no intention of going there were so ignited by the idea of Jews once again having their pride and having their homeland that it was taken for granted.
Soviet Union?
I remember so clearly. We had our ears glued to the radio for the vote at the UN.
The resolution of the Committee for Palestine was adopted by 30 people.
And when it happened, people just poured into the streets. And my parents were crying, and it was just totally thrilling.
For the first time, we would be able to be, we thought, in charge of our own destiny.
Once Israel was created in 48, the Israelis expected the Jews around the world to rise up and go there. They didn't. Most Jews in America were perfectly happy here. And frankly, Israel depended for its survival during the first few years on donations from American Jews.
Is it starting to make sense now? Is it starting to click? Is the light bulb starting to flicker and come on a little bit? Okay, trust me, there's more.
If the Jews had all gone to Israel, there would have been nobody to keep Israel afloat.
Goodness. That's the mainstream narrative, and there are many holes in that narrative. Now look, there are many scriptures about this prophecy, like this. Then say to them, thus says Adonai Yahuwah, surely I will take the children of Israel from among the nations wherever they have gone, and will gather them from every side and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land, on the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be over them all. They shall no longer be two nations, nor shall they be ever divided into two kingdoms again. They shall not defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will deliver them from all their dwelling places in which they have sinned, and will cleanse them. Then they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim. David my servant shall be king over them, and they shall all have one shepherd. They shall...
He's talking about us. Those in whom he has scattered. At a set point in time, he will bring them back together. Black men and black women are divided. Oh, the division is real. But at a set point in time, he will bring black men and black women back together again. Because he said, those are my people. I'm going to bring my people back together. I'm going to separate them. And in this separation, some going to get punished. Some going to get punished real hard for disobedience. You think you have a problem with the word submission? Oh, trust me, when it comes to him, you ain't got no choice but to submit. You will submit. There lies the difference with that. But at a set point in time, I'm going to bring my people back together again under a new covenant, under new grounds.
Also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. Then they shall dwell in the land that I have given to Jacob my servant, where your fathers dwelled. And they shall dwell there, they, their children, and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them, and it shall be an everlasting covenant with them. I will establish them and multiply them, and I will set my sanctuary in their midst forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Indeed, I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people.
I want to highlight this. You have others out there, paraphrasing, that don't want this union between black men and black women back together again. So they're doing what they can to keep division. I'm paraphrasing. I'm going somewhere with this. Pay attention. Because they know that when black women and black men come back together again and they worship and serve the Most High, Elohim Adonai, it will be a powerful thing. What makes you think that's right when you talk about black love and black unity? Other people get annoyed. They get triggered. Because when you have black huddled up and unified, You can't break that. You can't destroy that. Black is the most dominant race on the planet. And when the eyes and the ears start opening up and folks start catching it and getting it and understanding it and moving it and embracing it, it's a powerful movement. The other side don't want that. The other side want to keep you at division. They want to keep you going at it with each other. And a large number of y'all fall right into it. Y'all fall right into it because you do it. Instead of saying, wait a minute, this ain't right. This don't seem right. This don't feel right. Since everybody want to feel something.
The nations also will know that I, Yahuwah, sanctify Israel when my sanctuary is in their midst forevermore. That's Ezekiel chapter 37, verses 21 through 28. And listen, there are many scriptures that speak about this prophecy. I speak about this many times on this channel. If you want more, I have made a PDF for you to read on your own. But just understand what's prophesied. Yah prophesies that when he brings Israel back to the land, they will no longer be two nations divided, meaning the northern and southern kingdoms will be joined, and he will make them one nation in the land. But again, everyone there calls themselves Jews. And also, there is no mention of any other of the 10 tribes ever coming back with them at that time. And to counter that, most people say, well, that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the other 10 tribes. Who are they? Okay.
Crickets.
What I'm trying to convey here is that there are major holes in the narrative in order to place fulfillment of Bible prophecy on this. But yet, the world overwhelmingly agrees with this narrative. Why do you think that is? Is not the coming of the lawless one, according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth that they might be saved? And for this reason, Elohim will send them strong delusion that they should believe the lie, that they all may be condemned who did not believe the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. You see, who people assigned to being Israel determines what they're following in regards to fulfillment to end times Bible prophecy. You see, people don't have a problem with the mainstream narrative in the world today. But what they do have a problem with is the truth. Let me ask.
You have some that know the truth, but don't like for the truth to be shared to others that don't know. And once you share it with others that don't know, now they know. Now they are moving differently. The other side is triggered because they feel some type of way. Now they're getting exposed. But the word of Yah says, we are the chosen ones. So how is it that you claim to be the chosen ones and that Yeshua is talking about you, but you're not black? You're not a Hebrew. But this side is. It's not making sense. See? And this is what happens when individuals start figuring things out. Now you wonder why you're being treated a certain way, when you should be treated royalty, not like a peasant. Let's continue.
Ask you, when these people say that they're God's chosen people, do you see race? Do you see race anytime they say that they're the chosen people? Is it a racial topic when they say they are the ones who our Father chose? Ironically, most people don't see it. They just see it as being the truth, and they apply it as such. But on the flip side, if you challenge the narrative and explain who, based upon biblical and historical evidence, who the children of Israel truly are, then all of a sudden, it's about race.
They make it about race. But it's about tribe. It's much more than just about race. But others will make it about race. No, it's not about religion, it's about relationship.
People see you making it about race and skin color just by giving biblical and historical evidence. Now, mind you, when it's them, when these people even would spit at them, they still don't see race. But when you speak about who Israel truly is, it's then only about skin color that you're bringing in skin color now. And perhaps this is true because Satan, the god of this world, has defined one people all around the world only by their skin color. They have no identity besides being black or Negro. Or they also title it with Afro this or African that.
Every other race has a place where they can go. But when it comes to black people, most don't. I have a place where I can go. I can go back to Jamaica. I can go to Hawaii. That's both where my bloodline resides. I don't use the term Afro-American. I use the term other. I know who I am and whose I am. I was once one, labeled myself a Christian, following things, and it wasn't until the blinders came off and I started looking into things. I knew. I knew because something wasn't right. But I'm the type of person, if I don't know something, I'm going to research it so that I can know. I started diving in deep, start going back to the brothers, start going back to the sisters, and we studying. And the more that we studied, certain things started to unravel, and I was mind blown. So now, don't come for me, because I'm a person that studies, I'm a person that reads. Now I know what I know.
And that's not just in the United States, but all around the world. They are at the bottom of the barrel and have been heavily oppressed and told it's because of the color of their skin. Now listen, I have went over in great detail about who the world calls the Jewish people. I have went over in great detail about their history and who they are. I will not spend a great deal of time discussing it. And if you disagree, you must do so from facts. And I have presented a great deal. Now, on the flip side, I've also discussed in great detail on who the true people of Israel are today. And I've explained it both biblically and academically as well. So if you want to understand or disagree, you could do so from a standpoint of ignorance, but that will be proven because you don't actually care about the facts or the truth, but just what you want to feel. It would be different if I made claims like this, but then did not back it up. But I have done this thoroughly. So if you choose to ignore it, it's only because you want to accept the lies that you have embraced. Exactly what is prophesied in the Strong Delusion, which is why you're in the Strong Delusion in the first place. Anyway, here's the deal. In reference to Jacob's trouble, what Christians do not understand is that Jacob's trouble has already occurred. We are not waiting for the time of Jacob's trouble. Jacob has already been in trouble. But because you have assigned this trouble in the world based upon skin color and not by nationality, you would not be able to see it. Because the people who you call black people are not a nation to anyone. They're just black people. The truth is that Jacob has already been in trouble. I think it's really important to actually read all of what is written when Jacob's trouble is spoken on. So let's actually read it. Now, these are the words that Yahweh spoke concerning Israel and Judah. For thus says Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear and not of peace. Ask now and see whether a man is ever in labor with child. So why do I see every man with his hands on his loins like a woman in labor, and all faces turn pale? Alas, For that day is great, so that none is like it, and it is the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, says Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from your neck, and will burst your bonds. Foreigners shall no more enslave them, but they shall serve Yahweh their Elohim and David their king, whom I will raise up for them. Therefore, do not fear, O my servant Jacob, says Yahweh.
The first should be last, and the last should be first. Those that are getting done dirty, those that are getting mistreated, the same ones who treated them, who did them dirty and did them wrong, Yahshua's going to have them serve you. I'm going to let that sink in.
Nor be dismayed, O Israel, for behold, I will save you from afar, and your seed from the land of that captivity. Jacob shall return and have rest and be quiet, and no one shall make him afraid. For I am with you, says Yahweh, to save you. Though I make a full end of all nations where I have scattered you, yet I will not make a complete end of you. But I will correct you in justice, and will not let you go altogether unpunished. For thus says Yahweh, your affliction is incurable, your wound is severe. There is no one to plead your case, that you may be bound up. You have no healing medicines. All your lovers have forgotten you. They do not seek you. For I have wounded you with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of your iniquities, because your sins have increased. Why do you cry about your affliction? Your sorrow is incurable, because of the multitude of your iniquities.
The things that you have done is coming back on you. Repercussions and consequences. And we're seeing it. That's why that's why you see a large number of women crashing out. Their ways aren't working. You have women making TikTok videos, crashing out, losing their mind. How come men aren't doing this? How come men aren't doing that? You even have individuals having conversations. I hear those conversations. Good man talks to a woman. He shows her he's interested. But yet, he makes attempts to spend time with this individual. And what does she do in return? Message him back, declining the offer to come see him, stating that she's been off and on with someone for a few years, but now more on than off. And then say something stupid like, I've been meaning to tell you. So, therefore, peep game. You mean to tell me you've been off and on with someone for 3 years, several years? It has gotten nowhere. You see? But someone good come along and shows you, leans in with good intentions, and you reject him. You just reject your blessing for someone you've been going backwards and forth with no foundation, no purpose. Just there. That doesn't serve you. But you don't even serve yourself. Because how can you allow yourself, not alone, someone, to be going back and forth 3 years? Either A, you really, really messed up and delusional and dysfunctional, or B, this individual doesn't exist And that was just an excuse. But you see how when you do good people wrong, when you reject the good to get with the bad, then once the bad does what they do, now you butthurt, now you in your feelings. But yet you had every opportunity to have something good, but you didn't want it because what was bad was familiar to you. This is how individuals interact in their spiritual relationship with the Most High. They reject what Yeshua says. Even though what Yeshua says is good, they reject the truth. They reject him, believe the lie. But then when the lie tells on them, when the lie exposes them, when the lie does what they do, now they butthurt, now they ain't feelings. Now they on TikTok ranting and raving, posting motivational things. But yet, you had something good and real. Your relationship with Yeshua HaMashiach, the Messiah himself. But you rejected what he stood for to accept the lie, follow the lie. Help me make it make sense.
Because your sins have increased, I have done these things to you. As Jeremiah chapter 30, verses 4 through 15. In verse 11, Yahuwah said, I will correct you in justice and will not let you go altogether unpunished. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 11. So what exactly is the purpose of Jacob's trouble and this punishment? Because I want you to think about it. In the narrative Christians hold today, they believe that our Father gathered the Jews and brought them back to the land so that they can continue to be disobedient, and then he's going to punish them again. That makes no sense. The same people that Christians believe are the ones who had our Messiah crucified, they also believe that these same people, even though they have not repented from murdering the Messiah, they believe that our Father still brought them back to the land anyway, and then is going to punish them. He's going to bless them and then punish them.
Let's be mindful. The Pharisees and the high priests are the ones that deleted Yeshua. You say, why did they do that? Because he was exposing everything that was in their hand. He was exposing what they was doing. He knew what they was doing and he exposed it. He told the truth. He went against the grain. Translation. When you have individuals doing that very exact thing today, look how they're treated. But let me do something negative, evil, and wicked. It gets highlighted, it gets promoted, it gets celebrated, it's acknowledged. Why is it that you acknowledge the bad, but shame the good? Is it making sense now?
Well, here's the issue. Why is Jacob prophesied to be punished in the first place? Let's deal with that. It goes back to our own example of being a parent. What do you do with disobedient children? You see, just like our parents scolded and reared us for disobedience and rejection of their rules, it is no difference than what the Most High did. Our parents and that culture of rearing the child is a culture of Israel. The Bible says, he who spares his rod hates his son, but he who loves him disciplines him promptly.
Correct.
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24. The same way that we are taught to raise our children and discipline them is the same way that the Most High deals with us. Let me back up a little and explain this. This is the part of the Bible that is not understood by a majority of Christians, which is why they follow this false doctrine of today. When the children of Israel entered into a covenant with the Most High Yahuwah, he explained their arrangement to them very clear. He gave them a way of life and rules to follow, and he told them that they must obey them. He said, Therefore, you shall keep my commandments and perform them. I am Yahuwah. Leviticus chapter 22, verse 31. You shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim, his testimonies and his statutes, which he has commanded you. And you shall do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah, that it may be well with you, and that you may go in and possess the good land of which Yahuwah swore to your fathers. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 17 and 18. Therefore, you shall keep the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim, to walk in his ways and to fear him. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 6. You shall walk after Yahuwah your Elohim and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice. You shall serve him and hold fast to him. Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 4. And last one. Now it shall come to pass, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim to observe carefully all his commandments, which I command you today, that Yahuwah your Elohim will. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. You see,
he's giving you doctrine, giving you proof of what he said in his word. Yeshua has given his people the blueprint. Why is it so hard for a large number of individuals to follow the blueprint, to keep the commandments, to do what is right? But see, at some point, you've allowed the enemy to come in and shower you with gifts, shower you with material things. Then you forgot about what Yeshua said. You forgot about what your spiritual father who sits in heaven said, told you. Then you opened up the doors for the things of this world to receive those things, for those things to be your God, to be your Elohim. And we're seeing it play out. Look how far individuals are willing to go. And they doing it, and we seeing it. So all those individuals out there doing wrong, that have sold their soul to the things of this world, guess what? Yeshua's going to use all those individuals to come back and serve the good.
If you read the Old Testament, this is how he spoke with Israel and communicated with them. This is what he desired for them. He desired obedience. As he spoke with each generation, he carefully spoke to them and gave them this message. When he chastised them and then rejected them, it was for them not listening and heeding this. This is important to understand when understanding Israel. As you read through the Old Testament, you see the many different times that Yah spoke to Israel. And when he was pleased with them, he blessed them. And when he was angry with Israel, he cursed them. These were his people that he chose unto himself. As I just explained, a very big understanding of Israel goes into the agreement Israel made with Yah, their covenant. A foundation of understanding Israel should be found in Deuteronomy chapter 28. In this chapter, he says to Israel, now it shall come to pass if you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim to observe carefully all his commandments, which I command you today, that Yahuwah your Elohim will set you high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you, because you obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 1 and 2. And then the curses. But it shall come to pass, if you do not obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim to observe carefully all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you today, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. Israel was meant to be an example of Yah to the world, especially if they would have been obedient and walked in his ways. But nevertheless, everything that they did and they went through is a testimony to us. We learn of their successes and their failures. We understand Yah through their eyes because they are the only nation in the world to deal with him and have a personal covenant with him. The unfortunate truth that we know from the Bible is that Israel did not follow Yah. They followed after other gods and became separate from Yah. After Solomon, Israel was divided and the northern 10 tribes declared their own king, and Judah and Benjamin were separate and declared their own. So Israel was divided. There was the kingdom of Israel and kingdom of Judah. The northern tribes went into straight wickedness, and they were conquered first by the Assyrians, and they never returned as a whole back to their land. Judah was conquered after Israel and were carried off by Babylon. They eventually did come back to the land and they rebuilt the temple. This was the second temple. When they returned back to the land, they were referred to as Jews, which stems from Judah. And that's not really what the real name is even based off, because it really is Yahuda, but they really are Yahudim. But okay. They were prophesied of a redeemer from the line of King David, and many of them expected him to be like King David and unite the kingdom and bring peace back into their land, removing the hand of the Romans that were in control of their land of Judea. I'm skimming through information I have explained in greater detail in other videos. So, the house of Israel was fallen and scattered. They did not come back to the land, but the house of Judah did. And they had history. Judah never returned to the way it was before they were captured and taken into Babylon. Things had...
I'm letting it play for a little bit. So that you can get the gist of it, so you can have a true understanding, overstanding of what's going on, okay? And how we got to where Jacob's trouble come about. See, in order to have a complete understanding, we got to give you some history, okay? Because it's obvious it was never told to you the correct way. A lot of times we have to be willing to unlearn the things that we have learned, so in order we can comprehend. So what's really being said, we can understand the gist of it. So that the light bulb will come on, like, whoa, it's making sense now.
It changed for them. There were no real leaders, and the leaders that were in charge were corrupt and they served themselves. These are the Pharisees and Sadducees. There were Hebrews that continued in the law and a lot of others that tried to assimilate with the world empires. The Hebrews later referred to them as Greeks. Long story short, the Yahudim of Judea began to wait on the Redeemer that was prophesied to them, and they waited for our Messiah to come. And eventually, Yahushua the Messiah came unto them, and they crucified him and put his blood on themselves and on their children. The scripture says, "Then the governor said, 'Why? What evil has he done?' But they cried out all the more, saying, 'Let him be crucified.' When Pilate saw that he could not prevail at all, but rather that a tumult was rising, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, 'I am innocent of the blood of this just person.'"
He says, I know what y'all have done. I know what y'all are doing. I'm washing my hands of all of this. For I know what's to happen. I know what's to come. You're not going to involve me in your mess. They had no right to do what they did to Yeshua. They had no right. And see, back then, they didn't like the fact that Yeshua exposed them on so many levels. They didn't like the fact that Yeshua had so many followers, and he changed lives. He healed. He was a teacher. The high priests and the Pharisees, they didn't like that. They didn't like that. They didn't like that at all. No, we got to get rid of him. We can't have him teaching people who they are, letting people know who they are and whose they are. Because if he does that, we're done. We like it when they're kept in the dark. We can keep doing whatever it is that we want to do, because we know they're not going to catch it. They're not going to do nothing about that. But if you translate that into modern time, into today, when you know truth and you know what you know and you share it, look how you get shamed. Look how you get persecuted for speaking truth, for sharing, for doing what is right, living what is right. Make sense now? Doesn't it ring a bell?
You see to it. And the people answered and said, "His blood be on us and on our children." Then he released Barabbas to them, and when he had scourged Yahusha, he delivered him to be crucified. Matthew chapter 27, verses 23 through 26. So, they put the Messiah's blood on them, and this is a very condensed story. The point is that Israel was a hard-headed group that was in constant rebellion of the Most High, and they were chastised for it. The first punishment they received was bondage and captivity.
Now, let me say this. That's how a large number of blacks act, especially black women. You notice that? What he just said? Hard-headed, stubborn, don't want to listen. Don't that ring a bell to you? And wonder why you getting persecuted? Wonder why you keep getting in trouble? Okay.
Which is no different than what our ancestors have dealt with. The summary that you need to understand, if you understand the basics of the Bible, it is broken down like this. Yahuwah had a chosen people he was in covenant with. He told them they would be blessed if they obeyed him, and they would be cursed if they rejected him. He was very specific what he said would happen if he cursed them. The question you want to ask yourself is, based on the Bible and the history of what we know of the house of Israel and the house of Judah, do you think they were obedient or disobedient? And based upon that answer, do you think that the Most High right now will be blessing them or cursing them? This is an important biblical decision you have to decide for yourself if you're going to understand the world today.
Cursing them. Look at what you see, what's going on, what's happening. Especially with the large number of women. You see it.
Based upon the scriptures, it is clear to me that Israel rejected Yahweh and he cursed them. And this is them as a whole. Now, if he did not prophesy later about redeeming them, then you can understand why Christians think that everything now is about them. But here's the thing. In the middle of this Bible, he has prophesied a great deal about what he would do in the last days after he scolded them. And this is where we see Jacob's trouble.
So, with that being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in for this broadcast. I hope that I was able to open up your eyes and your ears to some things. Listen, it's simple. We're going to get it or we not. You got to get out of your own way and let Yahweh get in the way. When you read the Torah, you have to be open-minded. Of course, that comes along with that, you're going to cut ties with tradition. Those traditional things. Think about it. Yeshua never labeled himself. He never said he was a Christian. He always said, reference my Father, he who sent me. You see, you got to come out of that stuff. You have a spiritual relationship with your Father that sits in heaven. Be clear. So many individuals are brainwashed, have been brainwashed. I used to be one of them. I had to unlearn the things that I had learned in order to receive what I needed to receive so I can do what I need to do in hopes to have what I need to have. Once my mindset changed, it was fair game then. And so I try to share with my brothers and my sisters as much as I can with what I got. Until then, you're going to be the best version of yourself for many people to see. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And hit that notification button so that every time that I upload, you'll be the first to get an exclusive. It's your boy, Big Truck. We gone one.